Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. I am Solid Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hey, Frankie, welcome. Today you are number one. Juju, welcome, welcome. You are number two. I hope everyone is having a great day. Okay. And for everyone, let's see who's over on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I am going to get started. Okay. All right, so today I want to talk about life is complicated and messy. We each deal with life the best way we know how. So, everyone's life is different. No life is the same. At least I don't think so. Um, two people can live on the same street, be married, have the same amount of children, drive the same cars, work at the same place, but their life is going to be different. And life is complicated. Life is complicated. From almost the day we're born until the day we are gone, until the day we die. We're all dealing with something. We're dealing with something. Um, a child's life is supposed to be, carefree and easy, but that's not the way it is for every child. Some children face hardships and hardships that they probably should not have to face, ever. And as we get older, when we, grow into adulthood, and we have to, pay those bills, and we have to, you know, go to that job and get there on time and be responsible, make sure we don't show up late. Life gets, well, I'm not going to say messy, but you still have a lot of things that we have responsibilities that you didn't have when you were younger, as we go through school. You're in kindergarten and, you're coloring and you may be learning, your numbers and your ABCs, but then all of a sudden you get to first grade and, there's a little bit more structure, then you move to second grade, and then as you go through the grades, you have homework. The lessons get harder, you know. Um, you're learning things that you don't understand. But how we, deal with life, um, I think is very telling in terms of the type of person that we're going to be. I was going to say type of human being, but I think type of person that we are going to be. Everyone is not. I don't know. Someone once told me that everyone is not equipped to deal with life. And when I thought about it, you know, I think it's true. I think some people welcome Captain Jimmy. Um, and is this Jimmy or is this no? This is Jimmy. You put a captain in front of your name. Okay, welcome. Um, so you know, and welcome, Mr. B. As we go through life, things just get complicated. And for some of us, it gets messy. And when I say messy, I mean you could be going through a divorce. You could be having a hard time in school. You could be dealing you could be dealing with issues on your job that you just don't like, and a situation just may just get messy. Things just get messy. And I think that it's fair to say, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be, that everyone at some point, no matter how poor, rich, whatever your ethnic background is, wherever in the world you live, at some point, you're going to deal with something in your life that's a bit challenging, messy, or complicated. So, would you guys agree with me on that, or yes, no, yes? If you live if you live long enough. Okay, Mr. B, I'm going to push back on you a little bit. I'm going to disagree. So you say if you live long enough, but would you say that if a child is living in an abusive home and that child is 3 years old, aren't they dealing with a messy situation?
What do you mean? What kind of situation?
Oh, is this Jimmy? This is the voice that I love. This is the voice that I know.
Oh, thank you. I like your voice too.
You threw that captain in there, and I was, on Jester's show yesterday. I'm like, is that Jimmy? So, okay,
Yes, the one and only.
the one and only. Okay, so what I mean is that, okay, I just said that no matter how old you are or at what
Hey, Juju.
point, you're going to be dealing with something that is messy, or you're going to be dealing with some type of adversity in your life. And Mr. B just said, if you live long enough. And again, that's why I said that if you're a
Uh,
child and you're dealing with an abusive situation at home, you're 3 or 4 years old, you don't have to live that long to deal with a messy situation in your
True.
life.
And I experienced a messy situation when I think I was how old was I? Like 7, I think maybe 8. So I was on my family and I, we were on our way to Florida for Disney World Universal Studios. We happened to stop in Louisiana, and we are like in the middle of like bumfuck Egypt of Louisiana. And there's a little gas station there, and this is where I experienced my first act of prejudice. So the guy who owned the gas station refused to pump my family's gas. He just turned the machines off, the pumps off, and he just refused to let us pump our gas because we are Latinos, and the couple that pulled in next to us happened to be black as well, or they happened to be black, and he refused to pump their gas too. And this was the first time I experienced racism or prejudice, and as a kid, I was just like, huh. So it doesn't matter how old you are or how long or how many years you wait. Eventually, someone is going to experience something messy in their life, some adversity in their life, and I think it's how you deal with it, how you get help, if you ask for help. Like I said, how you deal with it mainly. I mean, because you could deal with it yourself, or you can ask for help, and there's no shame in asking for help. But it's just how you pull yourself out of those situations defines your character in life.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I literally said that before you came on, because okay, let me ask this. And Ba is not on the show today. He will not be on the show today. I wanted to bring up being a bully. If you're a bully, or if you have to deal with a bully. Bob thinks I'm wrong when I say that you
I've been on
confront
both spectrums,
that
so
you
go ahead.
confront them. He thinks I'm wrong to say that. He thinks that if you just ignore them, they will just, they don't have anyone to pick on anymore, or whatever. So they'll just eventually get bored and stop. I think that you need to confront them, because if you're not going to be the target on Monday, then on Tuesday it may not be you, but it'll be someone else. So to me, you need to confront them to know that you're not going to deal with any of their crap. Now, Bob says that for him, he was told, just don't ignore them, and it made him stronger. But everyone is not like that. And with today's society, especially with children, when you have social media, when you have people putting things about you online, you're this, you're that, and as we were talking about in another show about how mean girls can be, whatever. So when you just said, Jimmy, that it depends upon how you deal with it, do you just walk away and that makes you the bigger person, or do you confront them, and depending upon how you confront them makes you the bigger person? What do you
Well, I
do?
mean, like for me, it got to the point where I had no other option but to confront them and beat the shit out of them. That's what I did. I mean, because I tried being civil. I tried telling them, asking them like, what's going on? Why do you not like me? Why are you picking on me? I even tried doing peer mediation and mediation through the school counselors with them. I even tried talking to the principal, assistant principal. None of that was getting through that kid, and it took an act of me giving that kid a good beating for that kid to finally stop. And the funny thing is, we're friends to this day.
Now,
Like no joke.
can I ask, do you know why he targeted you?
Yeah, actually, he finally it took him a while, but uh, he finally told me, and this was about, let's see, 7 years after we graduated from high school. I ran into him at a bar. I didn't recognize him because he totally different, looked different. But he finally told me why he did it, and he said that his parents were going through a bitter, ugly divorce, and he was thrown in the middle of it, and he was very jealous that my family and I were a close knit family, and that he didn't have that. So he was targeting me and other kids who had close knit families, and just to give us hell because he was going through hell, and he didn't want to be the only person going through hell. And I told him, you know what, dude, I forgive you. I get it. I go, you should have said something. You shouldn't have not lash out like that, but I get why you did it. Um, but you should have said something. If your parents are putting you through shit because of their divorce and stuff, there was no shame in speaking out against your parents if they were being abusive or uh whatever. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm sorry I did that. And, and literally this dude, grown ass man in the middle of the bar, was crying, hugging me and crying and begging for forgiveness. And I was like, dude,
Excuse
I forgive you, man. That was years ago. We were kids, stupid teens and stuff. And like, don't worry. And I asked him to. I was like, I hope you can forgive me too, because I said I said some ugly stuff to you too, and I didn't know what you were going through. Uh, and I told him, man, it's amazing what you can get done when you just simply seek help, or you simply say something. You don't bottle it up or you don't hide it. You just say something, get your message across any way which way you can.
Well, okay, so I'm going to go back to where we were last week and talk about shootings. Okay, so when you look at how messy life could be for some people, how challenging it could be, um, is it just the fact? Because see, I don't buy the whole mental illness thing. I don't buy that. Do I think that some people are?
Let me
Yes.
ask you. Let me ask you why do you not buy into it? Because
I
remember,
mean,
mental illness is a very broad spectrum. It could be a long term thing. It could be a short term thing. and it just, it varies. I mean, it's
Well,
there. It's
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen and it's not real. I do believe that. I do believe that there are some people who get depressed, or something happens and there's a trigger and they just lose it. Yes. But I also believe that when life gets to be put like this, I think that there are some people when life is not going down the narrative that they want it to go. But there's just some people who just are just plain mean or just plain evil. They're just evil. They will just pick up a gun or pick up a baseball bat, or and just start killing people. I mean, is a serial killer, are they mental, or did something happen in their life? A serial person that rapes women, have been raping women for 20 years. Is it because maybe when they were little something happened to their mother, or they were rejected by a girl? I mean, I just think that there are some people who, yes, the mental thing is there, but there are some people who are just, like I said, just plain mean and just plain evil, and it's just how you deal with the situation kind of sets you apart from someone else.
But yes, if you looked at studies, I like to look up criminology, or like things on criminals and what makes criminals tick and why they do the things they do. And if you look at it on the spectrum, a good percentile of people who are rapists, they have been raped or sexually assaulted themselves, and they just don't want to feel like they're the only people in the world who was sexually assaulted, so they continue that assault on other people. And the other percentile, they're just sick people in plain general. They're just sick people who do it because that's how they get off on hurting others. And even with serial killers too, like serial killers, that they experience, um, they a good portion of them, they start off with hurting animals or
Hmm.
small animals, and they work themselves up to bigger animals, and then they finally work themselves up to attacking humans, people. And they all of them all have that one thing in common, is just that they go through a psychological deterioration. They start to lose their humanity, or their what makes them human. They just
Okay,
become
okay,
the boogeyman, is what we like to say to kids.
okay. Well, then let me ask this. So you have two friends, and they're playing poker, and one friend keeps losing, and then he's getting pissed. He or she, or they're getting pissed, and they say that you're cheating, but you aren't, and they probably know you are not cheating, but they're losing, whatever. Then all of a sudden they just get mad, and they pull out their gun and they shoot you dead. Is that mental, or is that just somebody who just got pissed off and didn't like the situation, and they just killed you?
Uh, the way I see that is, I say it is a mental thing. To me, that sounds like that person has an anger issue for them to go to that extreme for a simple game, even if it's not poker or card game. It could be a board game, a video game, and there have been instances where people have literally stabbed the person next to them for beating them in a board game or in a video game. Cause they beat them numerous times, and they just lose their shit, and they just uh, at that at that spot of the moment, and they kill that person. And then
Oh,
a good portion of the time, they snap out of their psychosis and be like, "Oh my god, what did I do? I was just so damn angry at that point that they lose their shit." And it could be a mental thing, or it could a mental health issue, or it could be just, uh I guess you could say in a crude layman's term, they're just assholes and don't know how to handle it.
okay, again, how we handle it, we, like I said, we deal with life the best way we know how. But this is for either Jimmy or Mr. B or anyone else. Welcome, Jester, Crucible, and Power Girl. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard, well, not maybe everyone hasn't, but there's a saying out there that everyone has the ability to kill, meaning that if you can get to your point, something can
Hmm.
happen where you can
I've heard
kill
that.
someone. All right. So does that mean that if you kill someone who is you're trying to protect your family, someone breaks into your house or whatever, um, and whereas you could have just, let's just say you could have just shot him in the leg or knocked him out, whatever. But for whatever reason, we chose to pick up that gun, or we chose to take that baseball bat and keep beating them, beating them, beating them, beating them, beating them until they are dead. At that point, are we mental? Did we snap and we were mental? Like after you hit them the maybe first two times, okay, stop. But then we beat them to the point where you don't even know who they are.
That is a very good question. I'm glad you asked that. So what you're talking about is the scenario of the fight or flight. And in the fight or flight scenario, when a person is in danger, they're not going to think uh, about the well-being of the person they're beating, whether they beat them to death or just beat them unconscious. A person in a fight or flight mentality is, oh my god, I'm in danger. What do I need to do to stop this danger from happening and keep myself and other people that I love safe? And that's all that's going in their head. And majority of the time, I promise you, if somebody breaks into a person's house, I guarantee about 99.99% of the time, it's going to be a shoot to kill. It's not going to just be a shoot to stun them and call the cops or have them run away. It's not going to be none of that, because in our own home, when something is wrong, somebody on the outside does something to a person in their home, the adverse effect to that is the person who lives there, they're going to kill that person. They're going to stop the danger, period. And you can read the studies on that. There's a lot of studies on the whole fight or flight scenario about home invasions and why majority of home invasions end in death for uh,
The
the
person
person
that's
who breaks
breaking.
in breaking into.
Okay. Jester says, take a life to save a life. That's my motto. Double tap, no one to testify.
There
So,
you go,
Mr. B,
Jester.
welcome, welcome.
Jester, and
What
for
do
you
you think?
too, Solid Blue Sister, real quick. So I'm gonna do a show uh, at 8:30 tonight, or 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Central, and I want both of y'all to join on the panel. I'm going to be talking about a house called the Watcher House. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that house, but I'm going to talk about that house. It's not a haunted house, but it has to do with multiple people wanting families out of that house and the extremities they went to. And I want y'all's opinion, y'all's thoughts on why do you think these people did these things. And I'll explain it to y'all later during the show.
Okay. Well,
I would love to have both of y'all on the show.
Jimmy, I will tune into the show. I apologize for last week, but literally,
It's okay.
your show last week, I was getting on a plane, so I'm sorry about that. And just one more time, Jimmy, are you under Captain Jimmy for your show, or what is your show? What is the name? And maybe you should type it also into the chat so
So,
people know.
yeah, you can look up under Captain Jimmy, or I'm putting in the show, put it in my show in, or the Pirate Radio podcast.
You know what? I need to make sure that I follow you because I think I have you under Jimmy and you change your name and oh, I am following you. Okay.
Okay. And Juju, yes, this is the house in New Jersey. You are correct. There's a
Okay.
lot of interesting things about that house, and you're
Okay.
more than welcome to join as
Juju
well,
does
Juju.
not speak up on shows, but she sure does know what is going on. She always knows what is going on. So, all right. So let me get to Mr. B. Thank you for waiting so patiently and welcome Angie and Saturday Night Smoke.
Yeah, no problem. I ain't no rush. I'm chilling. Um, well, I can only speak of my experience. I think it depends on the individual training. Like I've been in the service for a little while, and I've been security guard, and I had other jobs where it was physical, meaning I had to restrain people sometimes, like in mental hospitals. So the reason I say that is say this: I've been attacked a few times, and I was able to just use enough strength to hold the person down, right? But if someone was going towards a loved one, my restraint would be different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I've been waiting to you to tell us how it would be different.
It would be different is because I can handle myself pretty well. So it's like I'm calm, mer. I'm still mad. Like I had somebody spit in my face, and some people, that
Mm-hmm.
just trigger them off. They can't do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I was able to calm down and wipe it off and hold her down. But if somebody came over and slapped my wife, I wouldn't be calm. I would snap. I would just. I have no training for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a new experience. So I'd be like, nah, can't do it. So I think when someone mess with your personal space, I think it'd be easier to be more rational compared to somebody's affecting a loved one.
Well, let me ask this. Do you think that life is more complicated for, and I'm mainly talking about um, children right now. I'm going to
Okay.
say children under the age of 18, so
Okay.
minors. Do you think it's more complicated for them now than it
Mm,
was 10 years ago, than it was 20 years ago?
I would say no, but here's my thing though, because I think that's the old question. I'm not saying what you're saying that's the old question, but I'm saying every generation asks that question. What I'm saying is we're and adults, we're matured, hopefully, and we think differently. So everybody has the same type of challenges, but it just look differently. That's all.
Hmm.
That's how I look at it.
So, do you think that social media plays a part in how things are going today, how life can be messy for some and not so much for others?
Oh yeah. I mean, if a child's always in it, looking at it, uh, yeah, it affects them absolutely. But media always been out there, just like the newspaper, TV, books. Media's always been out there.
Okay.
It's just easier to get to it now.
Okay. So, the fourth grader that is being bullied through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you don't think that they're having to deal with a higher level of stress than someone who was just, being called names on the way to and from school and at recess and what have you, and then you go home and that's it. But with social media, is always there and is out there for millions to see, as opposed to maybe 20 or 30 kids.
Well, I would just say it's easier to get to. It's more access. But yeah, it's easier. Just like I compare like a horse and a car. All right, they both can be used transportation. Just one's faster and more efficient than the other. So yeah, I would have to say yeah, it is more difficult, but the same concept though.
Okay. And do you? Okay. And I noticed on your comment early on, you said if you live long enough. So you still think that as you get older, your life will be messier than, as opposed to younger or
Well,
more.
I don't mean more messier. It just means must you have more stuff that could happen. Like we're so
Okay.
young, you might not witness somebody you love pass away or you get sick. I'm just talking about regular stuff that happens. But if you don't live long enough, then you won't have time to experience it. Really, that's all. That's all I meant.
Okay. All right. All right. So welcome, Aaron and Trek Sticks. Who are you?
And one more thing about the
Welcome.
media. Um, I think the parents should really, really monitor uh, what the child's watching and how much. We talked about this before, but I think it's important to repeat again to see what they're watching, see what's bothering them, and uh, hopefully the child's able to communicate how they feel. Because if a child can't communicate how they feel, it can make things even worse. I mean, be able to express oneself is very, very important.
Okay. And Angie says, let's see, no to the extent it is now. The Juju says yes. We're talking about how things have changed. I work with kids and see this every day, um, but a lot don't. There lies the problem. So, okay, so let's look at divorce. Caps, welcome, welcome. I am glad you are on the show. My kids are outside. Hey, Caps. Um, I'm going to send you an email, and I would like for you to email both me and Bob. We would like for you to come on Friendly Differences. Jimmy, I'm still waiting for your email. so, um, so look at divorce, and I'm not referring to the whole Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing. But do you think that divorce has gotten more complicated over the years than it was, say, 50 years ago, 100 years ago? Has divorce gotten to be messier, more complex?
I think stars have made it more entertainment than anything.
But okay, do you think that they've ruined it for the regular folk that just want to get the divorce and go on about their way?
Um, I would say probably a little bit, but it's so different at the same time because they have so much money, so many different properties, so it's almost different. You know what I mean? I mean, they're both getting married, but they get divorced totally different ways. But
Okay.
it does affect up to a point. I mean, you have to be have some money to be able to divorce someone once a year because it
Would
costs.
Well, okay. Would you and Jimmy, if either Mr. B, if you still want to answer, or Jimmy, if you want to answer, if anybody else wants to come up on the panel, would you all agree or disagree that as we get older, no matter what we're doing, no matter how old we are, no matter what, again, our ethnic background, no matter what job we have, rich, poor, whatever, our financial status, that life gets harder?
I would say life is what you make it. Life can be hard if you make it hard, and life can be easy if you make it easy. And what I mean by that is, you, like I said earlier, how you react to situations that come, whether they be good or bad, determines the outcome of what's going to happen to you. A person once put it to me at this way, you know, in life we walk a narrow path. Sometimes we go up and down it. Sometimes it's a little bumpy, and sometimes there's a mountain that gets put in front of us. Now, you can choose to sit and cry because there's a mountain in front of you, or you can go around to the left, you can go around to the right, you can go underneath the mountain and pop up on the other side. You can climb up that mountain and go back down the other way and get past it, and by God, you can go through it. But the point is, there's many ways in life to do things. It's up to the person or the individual to do something about it, not just sit there and cry about it.
Do you think that if someone wants to take a shortcut and try to go through the mountain, um, life could get easier for them, or do you think that they're just making it harder?
Well, it's more of a scenario base. I mean, depending on the scenario, let's just say, or let's just say that for an example, uh, you can. This is kind of a tough one. Uh, um, if you want to call going through the mountain a shortcut, um, ooh, this is hard. I'm trying to think of an easy scenario that I can think of, but it's Mm, it's like it's like me telling you, uh, there's a man on the other side of your door in your house waiting for you. You open the door, he's going to shoot and kill you. You have the choice to listen to me, or you have the choice of opening the door and seeing if he's, getting blasted away. Or the shortcut, you can go to the backyard, open the back door, and see him in the front, but still risk a chance of getting shot. Are you gonna take that risk of going to the backyard, opening your back door, and peeking in just to see if he's there and risk the chance of getting shot? Or are you gonna listen to me and do it things, the easy way instead of the hard way, or trying to do a shortcut and say, uh, I can get past this person by going through the back, or I can get past. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but now you brought up another question for me because you use that word risk. So now I have to
Yes.
ask you, when you look at risk, I mean, for some people who, I mean, their everyday job is dealing with risk. So, um, eh, you know, what I mean is, you take a fireman who is fighting a fire, and they're running into this building to save a girl or whatever, and as they're running out, um the the ceiling starts to to fall in. Do they take the risk of going back out the way they came because they could possibly make it, or they can go around another way, but they're not sure if that other way is cleared? So sometimes you have to take that risk. Sometimes it's worth taking that risk.
I see what you're saying on how you're going about this. A certain situation. That's why I said it's very situational. It depends on the situation, and according to a situation like that you gave an example. Um, then yeah, uh, definitely. If you feel that way, like you said, the fireman, if the fireman feels that his way of going back from where he came from is more dangerous than the other, then by all means take the other way. That's why I said use that scenario of the mountain. There's many ways to get past that obstacle. The mountain is a metaphor for an obstacle.
Right.
And so that's why I'm saying, I mean, there's so many ways that we can get past obstacles in our lives, but some people just choose to sit and cry at the base of the mountain, or they just sit and choose to eat the shit instead of saying, "Hey, I don't have to eat the shit. There's another way. There's multiple ways that I can go about this to get the end result that I want."
Okay, but is it okay? I'm gonna make this comment, and then I'm gonna read what Angie said. So is it the fact that they'd rather sit and eat the shit, or that they're just afraid? So, and let me just read what Angie says real quick. She says, "Is as messy as you make it. Some circumstances is unavoidable, and could avoid, a lot could avoid a messy divorce." And Cap says, if we never had it hard, we would never learn. But there are some people, Caps, who go through their entire life never having it hard, and then as soon as something happens where all of a sudden somebody tells you to go hang up your coat, you're looking at them like you're crazy. What, me hang up my, no, I what? So um um okay, know all aspects of life. And Cap says, you live and learn. That's life. And Angie says, I am divorced. We did divorce on our own and didn't sit and cry about it. We were together nearly 30 years. Wow, Angie. Um, let's see. Mr. B says, heart like trying to ride a bike with a square shaped tires.
That's that's amazing, Angie. So Angie, y'all had a mutual agreement then, without any animosity. Y'all just mutually agreed to divorce, so separate. Great. That is great to hear that people can actually be civilized and have a civil divorce. It doesn't have to be ugly. It doesn't have to be frightful. It's just something civil, and and it happens. Some people, they're head over heels for each other, and then somewhere down the road they realize, or they find out they're really not in love. It was just maybe at that moment, whether it be a year to 20 years, 25 years, whatever. Uh, but there's something along the way they find out something about that person, or they see a side of that person that they don't like, and they get divorced. And Andrew said he was my best friend. I knew him since I was 14. I'm 54, and we even go for coffee sometimes now. He was my best friend. Oh, okay.
See, now that's cool. You know what?
That's
And I also
nice.
think
That's
that
nice. Y'all can still talk.
no, that is. And Angie, I want to know: did you say you did do the divorce on your own, or you went through the courts? Because a lot of times, if you just leave the attorneys out of it and do it your own, you probably come out a lot better. Uh, let's see. We have kids, and they are our priority. Okay. All right.
Well,
So
I'm curious, Angie, because I'm human. I'm curious. I'm wondering, would there or is there ever a chance of y'all two getting back together, like
interesting. Good question.
because sometimes it does take a divorce for people you know to come to terms, and have cooperation with each other. And when they do divorce and they do fix things, I have seen this quite a few times. They get remarried and their marriage is even better than what it was before. See, I don't think so. No, he had another partner and I'm generally good with it. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Hey, if you're happy and he's happy,
That's the
that's
only thing
cool.
that matters,
That's
and you all
good.
are
That's
able,
what
still
matters.
able to work it out. So yeah. All right. So Jimmy, Crucible, I know you're there. I'm coming to you. So Jimmy, I just want you to answer my question when you said some people have shit at the bottom of the mountain. And I said, what if they're afraid of that shit? What if they're just afraid? What if it's just fear and they're not willing to
That
move forward?
that is a very good question, and it does happen. Some people are just afraid of certain outcomes. I mean, people run so many scenarios in their heads in such a little time that they don't even realize how many scenarios they put in their head, and they create their own fear out of nothing. And it's reasonable, it's understandable, should I say, that people, not reasonable but understandable, why people do that is because it's the unknown. It's the fear of not knowing what's going to happen next, what's truly going to happen next when they activate those actions.
But when you
And
think about it, though, every day we get up, it's the unknown. I mean, we can walk
right.
out our house assuming that we're just going to go and get the newspaper or go to work, whatever, and the unknown may be out there. I mean, we may get hit by a car. We may get that call at work that something happened to our child or something. It's always every day is the unknown.
Mm-hmm. True. Very true. But that's why I mean that's why the thing called faith. You have faith knowing that your day is going to be good. You wake up having faith knowing that you're going to see the end of the day, live through another day, and it's on all in all. That's the thing that makes us human, more human. It's just that faith in knowing and having that feeling of knowing that things are going to be okay that keeps pushing us forward and going into life. Uh, but
Okay.
it's just it's just one of those things that it's a natural human response, a natural human emotion, but it's also a natural human response and emotion to come to realization that this is just uh, an extreme scenario that might happen. This is one out of a million chances that'll happen. That it's not going to happen to me, and then we just got to put we got to learn to put our foot forward, one foot forward, and then trust in that step to put the other foot forward and keep going, and not just sit there. Like I said, sit at the bottom of the mountain and cry. You have to at least try. You can't live your life not trying. If you don't try in life or don't do, you're not living. I'm sorry, you're just wasting the precious gift of life.
Okay.
You mean you're existing? That's what you mean.
Okay. So, Crucible.
Yeah.
Let me go on to Crucible. Thank you for waiting patiently.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to touch real quick on the divorce conversation. It's a little bit off topic, but not really. It's one of the more under discussed issues in the country today, and I don't know why. I have some theories about it, but now's not the time for that. I've never been divorced, but I know several friends. I mean, several friends who were divorced, and are still. This goes back 20, 25 years. Are still recovering financially from the devastation of what the courts did to their financial situation. I know people who are married now who are contemplating divorce who won't do it because financially they can't afford it. So it strikes me as very antiquated and extremely punitive when two people agree they're not going to be together anymore. I understand 60 or 70 years ago when women weren't working outside the house and they needed an income, they needed financial sustenance when the divorce happened. Well, fast forward to 2022 and even 20 years ago, women have been working outside working outside the home for decades. And I'm not saying they're on equal footing with men financially, and they do bear the brunt of the housework and whatnot. But I've got friends of mine who literally lost millions of dollars. They lost their homes. They're living in very difficult circumstances. And all of this because they're a man and the other person's a woman. And like I said, nobody talks about it. And you're ruining and devastating the lives of perfectly good people because our court system says this is how we treat divorce. This is how women are treated and this is how men are treated. And it's kind of like how we treat the criminal justice system. We don't give a lot of thought to what happens when the person is kind of thrust into this situation. Now they're out of prison. They don't have any options, and we just kind of leave them to flap in the breeze, and everybody just kind of moves on. And the same thing happens with men in divorce. And if they aren't any good to their kids, and they aren't any good to the rest of society when they're beaten into submission. They don't have any money. They've got to find a new place to live. And I think it's devastating on men in general. And like I said, I've got several friends who still haven't recovered. They don't know. They didn't know what hit them. They kept getting dragged back into court. They thought it was over. They thought, okay, I'm just about out of money here. And next thing you know, the ex-wife or the woman gets another attorney. And I've had several of them have gone through half a dozen attorneys. They come up with some other source of income that supposedly wasn't disclosed. The next thing they know, they're back in court again, and they're writing another check. So I don't hear anybody talking about it, but I think it has real impact on the lives of men and their children.
I agree with
I
you.
do believe. I do believe too. Hold on, Jimmy. I do believe too, but that's getting way off topic. So that's getting into a whole different show, whatever. But I do agree that men do get the raw end of the deal, and everything should be looked at. But I am, as Tuttles is always trying to keep me to stay on topic. So you all want to talk about how divorces are messy, whatever, but the whole thing about the court system
Hey
and
guys, I'll be
everything.
back. I gotta go do something.
Okay, that's a different show. So, um, Crucible, do you want to say anything else on it? But I just don't want to get into the whole weeds of the court of the court system.
No, I didn't want to either. You guys were talking about divorce and whatnot and how that can make life messy. And I'm not saying divorce is not a necessary thing that has to happen. I just think it's handled poorly. That's all.
Okay. Caps, you actually waited patiently. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Hi, Caps.
Hello. Now, yes, can I fucking speak? Right, here we go. So, like, look, people. It depends, like, on Crucible, like how long you've been together with with your partner, and there's a lot of questions when you think about it with movements. Like, I've been together with my partner, like, my wife, for 16 years, but like the point is that have you been through have you been through all the trials and tribulations, and how have you how have you dealt with them, and how have you rekindled, and how have you moved, and how are you, you think I ain't still dealing with bullshit. Like, everyone deals with the shit, but it's on how you take it, and if you're a lifelong person, if you have got like a heart, and you are like you've got self, like respect and moral, then I think that you will survive. But there's people who stray away, and that's where you make your own life complicated. Do you know what I mean?
So,
It's really hard.
Caps,
So I've never made my life complicated like that, but there's many people who do, because they get complacent. And but go on, ask me a question.
I wanted to ask you. Earlier before you came on, we were talking about bullies,
Okay.
and you have four kids,
hmm
and I want to know
I've got
what
4
is
kids.
your.
I've not had 4 kids. I've got
Well,
4
I'm
kids.
sorry. You have 4 kids. You have 4 kids. I stand corrected. I apologize. Okay, so, um, in terms of a bully, your kids come home and say, Dad, I'm being bullied, da da blah 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 blah. Do you tell your child to just ignore it and look
Do you
the other
want to know
way,
the truth?
that
Do you want to know the truth?
or do you? No, I'm
Do you want?
asking you. Do you confront the bully? Do you tell them to you?
Well, I've always been taught my own self in a mad way because of the way I've been brought up. So it all depends. But like me, genuinely, I've always had the same movement, like the same respect. But sometimes it's weird because, even though you are going to push on saying that you should do this and you should do that to a bully, then you're breeding violence, where I had that when I was a kid. So you're like, two rights don't make a wrong, so to speak. So I understand why people could hit me with that when I say the next thing. But I had shit in my house. I had bullshit. I was glad to get out of my house. And, I felt like my own home was a bully until I got out. So I had kids in order to make sure they've got respect and everything, in order to not have a bully around, like in the home. But on the same path, you've got to teach your kids not to get bullied, and you've got to tell them to stick up for themselves, because in life, when you fall over, what you're going to do, you're going to go, oh,
So, but okay, but when
oh.
you say
No, but do you get where I'm
to
coming
stick
from?
up,
You've got to grow up. You got to stick up for yourself. You have to. If you
okay,
don't, if
so
you
does
sit
that
there and wait, you
include
are gone. You are gone.
Caps?
You're
Does that
you're evicted.
include hitting that person? That if that bully
No,
comes
it
up to
doesn't.
you,
It doesn't
no,
include hitting them. It
no,
all
no, 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 no.
depends
Hold on,
upon
hold
the
on, hold on. I'm
situation.
saying if the bully hit your child, are you going to tell
Yeah.
your child to turn the other cheek, or are you going to tell your child to turn around and try to slap the crap out
To
of them?
to be God's honest, truthful with you, Solid Blue, when that situation happens to my child, I'm not going to be there to tell them their initial reaction to the point of where they're getting struck, because they don't get that at home. So when that happens to them, it's upon them to make that decision. I
Okay,
would never tell them to make
all
that
right,
decision.
all right.
You know.
That's fair. That's fair. All right,
So yeah.
all right. Well,
You know
Mr.
what?
Chill
And it has
Wills.
happened. Can I just say it has happened? And my son had even a girl hit him, and she was bullying like people in a line, and he was only young. And this girl hit. She was way bigger than him, and she hit him up, and he punched her up. And he come home and he said, "I'm sorry," and I was like, "No, no." It weren't the best thing, but I was like, I understand. I didn't say you were good, and I didn't say you were bad. I just was like, you obviously got punched up by this bully that was going around hitting little like you've got under years this bigger year, and so it happens. You just
Okay,
your kid's gonna deal with it. They're gonna wake up.
all right. Well, let me go over to Chill Will. Sweet Willie, thank you for waiting patiently.
Hey everybody. Yeah, so switched it up on me a little bit. Sorry, I got my
Well,
AC running in the back, so it
everybody's
might be a
been
little.
switching it up. So
So,
what do you want
so,
to say?
so,
Hopefully, it'll be on
so,
topic.
but with bullies, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like you got to learn how to stand up to them. So, I mean, I, I'm not letting nobody bully my kids. I don't want them to be uncomfortable at school. But yeah, I'll tell like you're gonna have to learn how to fight though. You're gonna learn how to defend yourself. They ain't gonna be here all the time. So you're gonna have to learn either to be able to handle situations in all types of form and fashions. With wit, with violence, so because that's just life.
So
When that's just life. So you gotta learn how to do it. You gotta be able to protect yourself and don't be scared. Conquer your fears.
now, I'm not saying that if someone comes up to you and they're constantly, they're bully, and you just haul off and slap them. But if they hit you, my thing is you hit them where they know that they will never ever think about hitting you again.
Or you just go unfair. Pick up a goddamn stick, a brick, or whatever, and
Oh, you
bust
going to
their
the
ass in
stick
the
and
head.
brick? Okay,
Yeah, you
all
bust
right.
their ass in the head, and then people will know like, oh, he crazy. He leave him alone. Make them an example. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? You just don't. People be like, oh, well, you're teaching kids violence, but well, you know, that's life. You know what I'm saying? We at war right now for the stupidest of things. You know what I'm saying? So the, that ain't stupid to teach a person to not cross boundaries. It's not like you initiated it. You know what I'm saying? You're not out there picking on nobody. But if somebody want to pick on you, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a brick upside your head, a broom, a bat. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be deadly, but you might you're gonna ask for it. So that's the thing for me. But as far as divorce, man, that's always sad. And divorce is I think people shouldn't even get married half the time because they don't even know each other. They don't ask each other the real questions. How do you feel about raising children? How do you feel about kids? How do you feel about disciplining kids? Just simple core questions. Because daily we can get along with somebody. They can make us laugh, make us feel good. But when it comes to certain core issues that you never have to see on a daily basis, but these people live with, like I don't know, being Republican or Democrat or whatever you want to say, like certain court, like religion or certain things, you may not get along that might be some deal breakers. People don't even talk about some of that stuff. I just think that half the time, if we were to step back and kind of say, you know what, probably not. Or just learn a person before we get to know them. I mean, learn a person before we get to marry them. We probably won't get married, and then the process of getting out it is difficult. And it's difficult for men, but men. I mean, typically, if you know the laws, you'll be able to get around that. I don't want to get into too much into it. What Chris was saying, but even, whether it's custody or just even just regular divorces, I've worked in those areas. You can get around that if you got some smarts, and they got people to help free. So you can always get around that. I don't think that's the problem. I just think getting into something that you say you're gonna get yourself into for a lifetime and then backing out. That's what piss. Don't I wouldn't make that commitment if I'm so easily like hopping out. Or if it's just like it's just that he cheated on me, I'm getting out. That's silly. Why you get married? Why you get married if he cheat on you and you're gonna get out? That's stupid. I don't know. I know the chick 6 years. I know the chick waited for her dude 6 years in jail. He get out, cheat on her, and he leave. Like what? Like huh? So you what? That
No,
makes no
you.
sense.
So okay. So Deb says premarital counseling. Do you think that every couple should go through that? That should be a requirement before getting
Nah,
married?
you can't make it a requirement, but it should definitely be. But even then, sometimes people so smitten, they're not gonna do that, or people not gonna do that because they're marrying for the wrong reasons in the first place. They're waiting for you to mess up so they can take your money. You know what I'm saying? That's what they taught. Like there's a huge segment of society that's taught if he mess you over, you take all his money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask this then, Chill. Do you think that a woman getting pregnant is a reason to get married? Because I don't think so. I think that right
Yeah,
there
sure it
is
is.
No, because I think if that child is the only reason that you're getting married, you all are constantly, or there's a probability. I'm not going to say it's always going to happen. There's a probability that you guys will always fight. You'll never get along because you did not get married because the two of you wanted to get married. You got married for this child, and you may end up getting divorced anyway. So
You asked me, was it a reason to get married? I said, sure.
okay,
You
all
asked
right.
me a good
Okay,
reason?
okay, okay.
Maybe
Is
not.
okay.
But
That is what I forgot to throw in the word good. Do you think having a child is a good reason to get married?
I don't think it's necessarily a bad reason. It's not a good, but it ain't a bad reason because there's a lot of people who get married for less.
Mhm.
So I think that's it's if you gonna have to work on the relationship regardless. And so to do it together, it may be a lot of tangible reasons why a man would want to do that. And if
Okay,
that not to say you don't love them, like you said, you might fight. That don't mean you don't love the person. So you're gonna have to go through work anyway in a relationship, man. Like married or not, if you plan to stick with somebody, you gotta work through that shit sometimes. And so, why not get married and try to do it? I mean, if you want to show it, because it's really an example for your kids. Typically, you get married for them to show them the right way. But if you can't do that process, show them the right way, and you can't do it like disagree, accord. Like if you kids need to see disagreement, but they don't need to see y'all fighting. They need to see y'all properly how you disagree and how you let it go, even more so after that, and move on. In the next moment of the disagreement, you know what I'm saying? So there's things certain kids they need to see y'all have a family setting, laugh together, disagree, like so that's good for family. But if you can't do that healthily, or if that's a word, like you can't do that, then you're doing from the start. But I don't blame people for trying because it's like I said, it's a lot of women or men get married for way less, breasts and
okay.
ass, money, you know, yeah.
Now, GP Man says, Solid, you don't have to be married to be a parent, but then he also says being a parent should require a license. And then
What?
Cap said, well, wait, hold on, because you're saying being married should, okay, require a license, but you don't have to be married to be a parent. Okay. So let's see, everyone is different. And okay. So, too much saucy. Thank you. Welcome. This is your first time on my show, or on my show, and on my panel. So, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I love these type of topics and these type of questions. What made me call in was I heard something that we don't hear too often. People think that just because you argue that that's a bad thing. It's always a bad thing. What I really loved about Chill's comment, it is okay to show an argument to in front of a child. We don't want children thinking that everybody's going to agree with everything you do or everything you say, but there's
Okay,
a way.
saucy. Can I interrupt you for one moment? Can you turn down the volume on your TV?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm in the hospital, so everything echoes a lot in here.
Okay.
And what I was just going to say is, yeah, it's okay to argue in front of these children. It shows them how you can actually have an argument and still be okay. You don't necessarily have to be mad at each other. If you show the kids at home how to argue, then how to make up. In between, they're showing the details of how you made up and how did you be able to agree to disagree.
Okay,
Those things are very important.
but saucy, do you want to argue in front of your children, or do you want to disagree? Because to me, an argue.
Not necessarily. When you feel it going to an adult argumentative stage, then one of you should be the bigger adult and say, "We'll talk about this later," or once we both calm down, we could talk about this, or even include if the child was there when it started, you can even include the child in the conversation without
But
it escalating to an argument.
do you want, okay? But if two adults are disagreeing, or whatever about something, do you really want to pull your child into?
That's why I said
I hate
it
to
would
say it,
depend
pull your
on what the
child into your.
topic is,
Well,
and
I
if
mean,
you if you
oh,
if you started, and then I'm just gonna say, for instance, in my household, if we're having chicken for dinner and the dad wanted steak and he's sitting there pouting because he didn't get his steak, I think that's a very good conversation that needs to be completed in front of the child, because you need to know that you don't always get what you want in life. And then there is a way of doing these things, compromising, and showing the child that you can compromise. Oh, honey, I'm sorry that we didn't do the steak today, but if it's okay with you, can we do the steak tomorrow? Show the child that there is other options without saying, oh, because you didn't give me that steak today, we get a divorce tomorrow. So I think those are different ways to implement showing love, showing, we can still love on each other even though we have a disagreement. And I show that a lot in my classrooms. When I was teaching, I always made sure that the kids use their words a lot. You took that pencil from me, made me feel this way. Use your words and let the child be able to elaborate, and you be able to say, take those words in consideration, and go from there. You'll grow as a family, grow together.
okay. Now Juju says I got a divorce and my husband never signed the papers. I didn't
Oh
ask for
God.
anything in the divorce. Juju, are you sure you're divorced? Because if he never signed the papers, sis, are you
That
sure
means y'all
you're
still married.
divorced? Yeah, I think Juju. I think y'all may still be married
Y'all
there.
still married.
So I have another question, and Saucy, I'm going to ask on my show. I asked that if you're not talking, if you can please mute.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So my next question, okay, we talked about divorce, we talked about bullies, we talked about the kids and all this other stuff. I want to talk about the job. Okay. You are on a job. And before a lot of you guys came in, Jimmy was on and we were talking about shootings and why people do this and do that and react a certain way. Um, so you are on the job, and you went from having a job that was pretty nice and cushy and everything, and then you switch jobs, and this job got a little bit more messy. You're dealing with the boss from hell, the boss that I mean, I have had a boss from hell. Other people may have had one. I think that somewhere along the line, maybe we all have one somewhere. But you have this boss, and they treat you like crap. They treat everybody like crap. They're not singling you out or whatever. But what makes you take it to the next level where you either want to beat the crap out of your boss, where you either want to, you know, go home and get that gun, or you consistently talk to your boss, talk to your boss, talk to your boss. Nothing is working. You go to HR, nothing is working. What do you do?
Oh, can
Wait,
I go
Saucy,
first?
Saucy, Saucy. I was actually going to go to Crucible because he has been
Go
waiting.
Crucible, because I'm
Okay.
mad about these bosses.
Okay. Okay. Saucy, mute, and we will come. On my show, everyone gets a turn to talk.
Actually, you can
Okay.
let Saucy go. I walked away solid. I wasn't really paying attention, so she can jump in.
How rude. Okay. So Saucy, go ahead.
Thank you,
I'll go
Crucible.
next if you will. I'll go next. I'll go next.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, Saucy, go ahead.
I just, first of all, I love the way your show is ran, Solid. Thank you for having me. I love the whole being able to communicate with one another and being able to have a difference in opinion and still be able to laugh. That's the main thing that I was talking about in the last thing. Still being able to communicate. If you're ever at a point in your life, in your job, where you're thinking about violence when it's come to your boss, something should have happened a long time ago before that. We, for some reason, I'm just speak for myself, I tend to hold a lot of things in. I'm one of those people, you can hurt my feelings and hurt my feelings, and I still won't say nothing until that last breaking point, and you wonder why your windows is busted. You wonder why you got to, because I didn't let it get to that point. So, with that, I think once you start
Hold
having,
on. Y'all just hold on. Y'all just gonna bust past that shit right there. Hold on, no.
It was not me.
Oh,
Chill. You cannot blame me for that one. That is Saucy saying that. I didn't say that.
Saucy,
I didn't say it.
No,
Don't blame
no.
me.
I
What? What
caught
I
your
say
ass.
now, Chill?
I caught you. She
No,
says,
but
what? What's going on?
no,
She
in
didn't
a
even
job,
realize what she said.
if you wait to the last minute, just to let you know, if you wait to the last minute
Right,
in a job, no one will ever know what your problem was. With
right.
me, I
Forget
will
you, Chill.
always, when I
Okay,
go
wait,
in
okay,
my job,
Caps, wait,
I
Caps,
will fucking
Caps,
go for it, man.
hold
I'll
on,
tell them
Caps, Caps,
exactly what I want.
Caps,
Sorry.
Caps.
Okay, I'm
See,
sorry, I'm
Saucy,
sorry.
when you Caps, when you say those trigger words on my show, you get people like Sweet Willie and Caps jumping in. So you,
But Solid, you know what I meant, right?
yes, I know what you mean. I know what you
But
mean. Go
I be
ahead, go
forgetting
ahead.
we dealing with sweet Chill Will.
Oh, don't lick his ass.
You know.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I
Chill,
didn't say nothing.
chill, that. Go ahead, Saucy. Go
But
ahead.
that's all I was saying is we shouldn't wait till it get to that point. It should been already addressed. And I was just speaking on my own self. I let things build up, and so with that, try not to let things build up. When you see you both adults, and when you see it heading in the wrong direction, you should be able to talk to another adult and let her know, or him know, this is not going in a very good direction. Is there any way we can fix this now before it gets out of hand? Did I say that right, Chill?
Yes. Okay, Crucible. You are next. Caps and Caps. You are after Crucible. Go ahead, Crucible.
Yeah, I think in that kind of a situation that you were describing, with your boss and HR, whatnot. I mean, I've been in both situations as the person who was having trouble with their boss and ultimately, eventually, was fired. And I've also been the person who had to take the step to terminate somebody. And in both my experiences, I think what people tend to overlook is it gets very personal. And even though you're supposed to evaluate people based on their performance, and that's mostly what people do, but you can get personalities involved that maybe on a subconscious level, you just don't like this person. And maybe it's an oil and water situation, maybe it's a personality situation, but my experience is that those things tend not to resolve themselves. So HR is not going to help with that. I mean, HR is there to make sure things stay legal and professional and proper, but they can't interpret people's personality differences. A lot of times people don't even know it's a personality thing, or they're not going to admit it because now it's not a performance thing, it's a personality thing. But my experience is those things don't change. I never changed my mind about somebody I thought about terminating, and I don't believe the guy that I worked for a couple of years, he probably wanted to fire me for 2 years, and for whatever reason he didn't, but eventually he did. So those things tend not to work themselves out. You need to get out from that situation because there's a lot more going on than just your performance. And once somebody's kind of decided that you're not a fit, it's just a matter of time. Those things don't turn around in my view.
Okay, Caps.
Look, I've trained people. I know when people want the job. I know when people are just doing it for a little bit. You know the person if you've done it for a while. So, like, really, if you have, like me, when I first started, I used to go red in an interview. When I had my first interview, I'd blush, I'd go red, and I'm telling him what I'm meant to do. But then after like that, I got the job and whatever. But then in the end, like, I had another interview, and then what happened? Like, I weren't going red because I had information, or whatnot. But like in your scenario, by the way, too much, like, you cannot, you can't have people talk down to you in your job. Whatever you're meant to be doing, don't let people bring you down, because you can get another job. You can get another job quite easily. And this is the problem with today. Like, people think they've got a hold on you when you've got a job. Like, I remember my gaffer, my boss, once telling me, "This is more important than your family." And I'm like, "What? Are you are you mad?" And he's like, "Oh no, if you ain't got a job, you can't feed your family." I said, "Mate, you ain't the be all or end all. I can get a job. I've got a skill, you fucking idiot. I can get a job." And I literally said that to him. And I literally put it on his plate, because like this is another thing as well. If you ain't got a skill, then you are dragged But if you've got a skill, you can literally kind of pull the shots. But if you haven't got a skill, you are fucked. But even if you ain't got a skill, you can't allow people to treat you like a bitch at the end of the day.
But Caps,
So
but you don't
yeah,
know if you're on that job. Okay, if you're like Saucy and you're just gonna let it build, let it build, let it build until
you
the very last
can't do
point.
that even with life in itself. You can't do that.
Right, but okay, but you don't know what someone's point is. You don't know what that breaking point is. That person can come to work every day and say, "Hey, Caps, what's up? Hey," the next thing you know, he's pulling out a gun and he's shooting everybody,
Well, that's if you live in
or he
America,
goes into
yeah.
you.
If you live in America,
True, true. Or he's going into your
Forget you,
boss's
Caps.
office. Well, I mean, Saucy does have a point, but
what
but
she say?
or you're going into your boss's office and you're beating the crap out of him. I mean,
No, but
you
it's a
don't
level
know
of
what someone's
control.
breaking
No,
point
but
is.
look, if your breaking point is to go on like that, you shouldn't even be in work.
But
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, Caps, then let me ask you this then. Do you think that people even know that they've reached that breaking point until they're there?
Yeah, I do.
Like,
Yes, of course you do. You know when you've had enough. I've gone to the point where I've dug my head in the sand to a degree, and when you've got good people around you, you can get woken. You can get woken up, and you can get slapped in the head a little bit. But like some people haven't
but
got that, so
but
yeah.
Caps, I mean, but I have been in situations where I'm around people and they're fine, everything's fine, but then they say something or they do something, and you are just literally ready to slap the living crap out of them. So it's like, how do does everyone
I've been in
know
that
they're at that
situation.
point?
I'm not gonna lie. I've resigned and been in that situation. I've literally been in that situation. You know what I did? I didn't, and I walked out, and I was so angry, and I'm glad I didn't do that because like I've got what at that time 15. I've got 20 years experience in work now. That was about 15 years in, and I've done it a couple of times. I've had fights in work with people and got sacked. Like I've learned as I've gone on through my working experience, and now I'm a supervisor. Now I'm someone who, if I do that, I'll lose my recognition. And this is the thing. Like you don't want to lose that either. So this is where you learn from the shit, your trials and
No,
tribulations. You have to. No, but I know if you want to kick the crap out of someone, you have to hold back. You have to. If he hit you, then by all means, kick the crap out of him. But
I'm
if
I'm
it,
Caps, I'm
you
just
can't
saying
just
that
hit someone
you
because
don't
they're
know.
speaking to you like shit. You can't. It's obvious.
Okay, but I'm just saying you don't know what someone's breaking point
Yeah, but
is.
what
So
do
chill,
because
sweet.
but because you're breaking, does that mean someone else has got to suffer the consequences?
No, no, but no, absolutely not. But I'm just saying that you don't know if you
Well,
go
that's what
to the
happens in most
market
school fucking
and
shootings, ain't it? Like, there's a kid who's been bullied all his life, and then he comes back 6 years later and then shoots up the school for 90 minutes until he is killed. It's absolutely fucking degenerate.
oh,
It's
I mean, yeah, I
absolutely
mean for
disgraceful.
something like that, yes, yes. But I'm just saying that some people they just that breaking point just happens when it
Well, that's a
happens.
fucking breaking
So
point, ain't it? You know what I mean?
yeah, it is. It is. So chill, sweet Willie. Before you go, I want to address something that GP Man asked you. He says, "Chill. Would you get married for $10,000 to help out a lady with citizenship?" So chill. And Saucy, you're
Hell
going to
yeah.
have to mute, honey. You're going to have to mute. Chill.
Hell yeah.
Well, GP,
He might put
you have your
might
answer.
put it on.
So
I don't believe in the American marriage system anyway. It's a joke. So if two people that actually get married, I mean, or make a commitment of you don't need a court system to tell you that, right? So you do it just because of legalities. So it's normal. But like if somebody gonna pay you $10, as long as I can get a prenup or something like that, hell yeah, come on in. Shit, I don't. I mean that's how the world is works regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's how uh, half the politicians getting married because it looks good. They're not getting married. They're contractual agreements for a reason. Like this, yeah,
Okay.
it's a
All right.
joke. But
So
yeah,
you want to comment on what Saucy was talking about? Because I see in your chat you said don't let it build up, or
um,
your windows will pay the consequences. Don't you wonder why
yeah,
your tires are slashed? Saucy just told you why. so
exactly. You
so
could be
go ahead.
seen. You can seem so rational until you slip up. She's such a great school teacher. She's so wonderful with the kids. Until you piss her off, she's gonna bust her windows. That's they say teachers, nurses, hairdressers. Yeah, never mind. But I just know that when it comes to stuff like that, oh man, that was about the workplace though, wasn't it? I thought it was a what?
Yeah.
Did you, I forgot the
No,
actual questions because y'all was getting
this
killed.
this,
They was
this
killing
was
me.
the workplace. You're at the workplace and you're going to work every day, and you have that boss from hell who messes with everyone, not just you. But one day you are about to lose it. So what do you do? Do you quit? Do you knock the crap out of them? Do you curse
You
them
go to the
out? Do you
union.
walk out? I mean,
You go to the union. I was in the union I was a union rep for 10 years. Go to the union. let them handle that because those managers never
okay, but
like.
what if okay, but you have a
Uh,
lot of jobs nowadays that don't have unions. You work
they
at
got HR.
like
They got an
Amazon.
HR.
Yeah,
You're gonna
but
get fired probably.
HR
Yeah.
is like, to me, like a lot of these schools where either they don't want to get involved, or you have these steps. Well, first you have to do this step, then you have to do
Yeah,
this step.
you're fully right, Sally.
Back in the day, you just got fired, but now we have to do this. Then we have to go to
Yeah,
mediation.
yeah,
Then we have
yeah,
to do this, and the person
yes.
is
That's
never
what's in
fired.
my works now.
So
It's all that. It's all
so
mediation and oh, what's wrong with that
You're gonna have to
person? Well,
take
we
your
need to
turn. Listen
go
here.
through.
taps,
Remember,
taps,
you could have
taps,
said that shit on your turn,
Fuck
Cap.
you, Chill Will. I hope you're doing well there.
taps, 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 taps. All right, go ahead, Jill.
I know. Um, for the most part, though, there's typically a way you can handle it, or you can just quit. It's kind of like Kev just say, you can choose another
But why
job. The
should
only
I have
part
to
is
quit?
though,
Why should I have to quit because you're being an asshole?
well, if the organization is being an asshole, you quit because you don't want to represent an organization that's being an asshole, right?
No, why
So,
can't I just sue them? Why do I
say it
make
again.
them pay for being an asshole?
I mean, yeah, you could. Sure, you could. I mean, but you have to have burden of proof at that point, and
True.
so you. That's why I say you can be smart about it. And so I know literally people who go in and do these things just to get fired so they can sue them. Like I know people who do that for a
Oh
living
yeah,
and get paid.
definitely, definitely,
They'll fall on job or they'll get like or they'll report OSHA and then if they do it again, then I'm suing you unsafe working conditions. Or they'll wait for a caps to come along and start cussing them out, or cussing somebody else out, or just cussing at all at the job. And this is a hostile working condition. I told them not everybody's retaliating against me because you got the workers and against them. They're messing with them, so they get. So that's the way you can go that route. That's hey, and that's what they're waiting on. But for the most part, if you just got a job that you may like, that's the only difference. But if you can, I mean, if it's a job you may like, you may want to fight for it. It's what you meant to do, and you like the job, fine. But people can make that experience worse,
yeah.
unequivocally, without a doubt. You can have a job you don't like that people make the situation better. But in
Mm-hmm.
this case, in scenario that if it's kind of like I said, you can go and get another job, and if not, then you get what you asked for at that point. If you're going to get removed from you can always ask. There's always ways to get out of a situation, but you got to be able to put up with what comes ahead. And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. But at the end of the day, you may be better for it. You got to go through. Oh man, people gonna know. People gonna think I'm a snitch. People gonna think I'm, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's your happiness. So if you don't want to go through that process, you don't want the upper management to know or whatever, then it's time to go.
Okay.
You can't have your cake and
Uh,
eat it too at that point.
all right. Saucy, it is your turn, but I want to read a couple of the comments. See, Salad Snake 14 14085 says anyone can snap. Yes, they can. Juju says, yep, only in America. Frankie says, another great topic. I'm sorry I haven't sent gifts. That's okay. I don't expect gifts from everyone. You do what you can. Let's see. I'm saving for a surprise. Good panel today.
And real quick,
Huh.
I did. Sorry,
Thank you,
y'all didn't
Frankie.
mention that. Y'all
What?
didn't mention that somebody losing their stuff at the workplace. That can happen with anybody. Anybody can lose their, like, you can't always stay in control. You will at one point want to lose your stuff and just snap. And some people are better than others. We can't really tell other people to hold their shit together because we don't know how hard it is or what they're going through. Like you said, so that is a difference. You got your people dying around you. You might be broke. You might just a lot of stuff might be mounting up. And not to say is that they should do that. Of course they shouldn't. But the fact is, the stuff does happen. For it, whether you should, we're not dealing with what they should do. We're talking about what happens. And then when it happens, how do you handle it? Like, you just try your best. So when I try to ask people if they're okay when they're around me, I see they really disgruntled or out of sorts. I try to ask. I try to, even if I don't like them, like, you good? You know what I'm saying? Or, man, you know what I'm saying? So I just, because I don't know, you get to the point you just sometimes you need somebody to talk to, especially when you don't know them. It may be better to talk to that person because they don't have no fight, fight in the game. You know what I mean? Just, hey, you good? All right. And then, well, and just to have that, because, man, that shit gets real. And you're right. And one thing that's crazy that still only happens in America: school shootings. If you go look at the statistics, it's ridiculous. America
Uh,
against the world. So it's
Sheila,
something we doing wrong.
You do know that you in Saucy's time, right? Saucy, go ahead.
Well, she gonna
Well,
she gonna bust my
being that
windows.
Chill is out of line as usual, Chill has a problem with time, but we're not going to speak on that right now because we're going to be very mature with the situation. And what I do love about what Chill was saying is, it goes beyond that workplace. As a school teacher, you're dealing with children every day, and you're dealing with the same adults every day, so you begin to get some type of relationship in either way. Most of the times, when you go in the classroom, you're smiling, "Good morning, class. Hey, everybody. Good morning." And that's from when you step out of your car because you got a coworker that's stepping out of her car at the same time. And you're probably saying good morning, and that person like, oh no, she didn't wear that color. I had on that yesterday. She got caught, and you would think those type of things change from adulthood, from elementary, but it actually don't. We as adults start having that same immature mentality. Oh, she should have spoke to me first. Next time I ain't gonna speak to her. And we tend to take those type of immature things with us to the workplace, which makes a immature workplace. And now I'm gonna try not to wear red the same day you wear. So what I've learned is when I do go into these new schools and stuff like that, I try to just be sauce all the way around. You're gonna know the same sauce that y'all see at nighttime. I try not to, switch up so much, only with my dialect because I know I can't cuss at school. You know what I'm saying? So I try to be the same funny, you know, easygoing person all the way around. That way we won't have that discrepancy. But for some reason, at any school I work at, I always got this one that don't like me for some reason. I don't know what it is. But one more thing is, I went to work with CAPS probably last year, and it was one of the most, and I know people hear me speak about it a lot. It was one of the most eventful times that I ever had because I'm way over here in America, and to go to work with CAPS, and all I heard all night long was "Good day, mate. Good day, mate. Good day, mate." And they're so friendly. I mean, and we be on here cussing Caps out like you fucking cunt, you motherfucker. But to hear the people that he works with every day, all day, it was just all jolly, like everybody was smiling. And I'm on the outside looking in, so I really don't know if it's a genuine smile, but to hear it, it sounded so genuine. He got off work and they're all like, "What's up? Where you going now? You going to the pub?" I'm just like, wow. When I get off work, I don't be trying to see these people.
You know what? When Saucy, when I went to a 9 to 5 job. I work for myself now, but you're right. It's like after work, you don't want to see anybody. I just want to go home.
Go
So yeah.
home. I want to go
So
home and relax.
Come on now, come
uh,
on, sweetheart.
so I
Let's
do
get
want to
to
read something that Petty Deb said. She said, "I snapped at work, and my coworkers pushed me off the loading dock to keep me from getting my ass kicked."
Ooh.
Dang, Deb. So, Crucible, are you still there? Okay, I think he got a phone call. But Caps, I know you are dying to say something. So, what is it you want to say?
Right, I just want to go through two things. Like, every time I welcome someone and interview them and then literally work with them, I go, you're right, mate. And even if they're not even on my section and they come into the building, I'm like, you're right, mate. Oh, you're new. You work at, yeah, yeah. And they tell me, I go, you want a coffee? Yeah. It's like, oh, coffee. I'm like, yeah, I'll show you where the coffee machine is. Show him where the coffee machine is. This is the point that I'm getting to, is that I've always got respect automatically.
Yeah.
It's until you lose that respect, is it not?
So, okay,
That's the
Caps,
whole ball game.
then let me ask this. So, would you say,
And let me say one more thing so I don't lose train of thought of what my second thing was. I would never do retail because retail would consist of too many people
oh,
at
yeah.
a certain time talking to me like shit. I could never do it in my fucking life. But anyway, sorry. That's
No, I did retail, and I said I would never do that job again, and
I'd end
I
up
have
killing someone.
never.
I'd end
Oh
up
no,
killing someone. I'm telling you.
no,
Just
no,
like
no, no,
working
no,
in
no.
schools, I'd end up killing the little wankers. No, I can just about put up with my kids. Never
Mm-mm.
mind anyone else.
So,
Fucking hell.
okay, so
Sorry,
Caps,
go on.
let me ask this because you live in the UK and America. Every other day we have a shooting. It's gotten to the point where we have a shooting, and most people are like, "Oh, we have another shooting," and that's it. Um, but do you think that if people who go off in the workplace, I'm not talking about people who go and shoot children or shoot in a movie theater or something like that, people who specifically were working at a particular place and they bring a gun to work and they just start shooting everyone, do you think it's because they had a boss that was an asshole?
No,
Or do
no, I
you just
think
think
they're
that
mentally fucking deranged, love.
okay, all right,
Like,
okay.
seriously, for you to literally take someone's life, if you think that is the best option, like, do you, like, as a person, like, if you get struck and you hit someone, if you hit them and they fall on a stone, like a curb, and they break their fucking head, like, that's manslaughter because you didn't mean to do it. But for you to literally walk in and just shoot people out, like, it's just another lie. I believe it's like the cowboys and Indians, man. It's fucking unreal. And you know what? As many days this year have you've had literal annual days, you've had shootings and killing. It's really gutting, and I'm not knocking literally. I'm not stereotyping, but it is from the UK. I'm gutted. I'm just gutted because I know the consensus ain't like that. I know majority of you are not like that, but it is really sad,
It
and I
is.
hope things get better. And I don't know how things are going to get better. I'm not going to say take all your guns off. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what is the. That's another topic, I suppose. What is the flipping answer to fix this crap that
Oh
keeps
my
happening?
goodness. Oh my goodness.
You know,
Um, Solid, can
it's
I
so
say something
sad.
to you
Sorry,
on this?
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna finish. Sorry, I love you too much. I hope
I
you're
love
doing
you
well.
too. I just can I as a
Yeah, yeah,
teacher,
yeah. Go ahead, Saucy.
as a parent, love you so much, Caps. Thank you for being you. As a teacher, as a parent, I honestly, that's such a touchy situation when we talk about those children who lost their lives and the parents and the teachers and stuff like that. But and I don't want to put a conjunction word right there. Until the day teachers are able to get paid more than somebody putting a basketball in a hoop, or more than somebody scratching off a scratch off. Until that day changes where we're honestly getting paid for the work, then we're still going to see these psychotic breaks. Are we live in a
But isn't that at every job? I mean, the same person that's working at Walmart, or these people who are waiters and stuff, they're getting paid crap. I mean, isn't that for everyone?
and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said, well, we're living in a government that is so um, tainted, so toxic anyway, that until those type of things change, we can only expect the things that we are the things that's happening, these psychotic breaks in supermarkets, psychotic breaks in schools. We have a psychotic government. We live under things that are it's toxic, and we as a people are going to have to change those things. We can't expect the government to do so if they've been doing the same thing over and over. As soon as election time is near, something else is going to happen. So if we don't take our kids out of these public schools, quit giving the government so much power over our children, then we're going to be in the same boat. I know that there's no one answer to how do we stop that, but one of the things is we can minimize this problem by, you got 500 students in one school, one security officer. Go ahead and build some security officers just for schools. Let's take these schools down from 500 to 50 and have two police officers, three. There's no way one police officer can govern a whole school with 500 people. He can't be at one.
But okay, but Saucy, but listen
Yeah.
to what you're saying. I mean, when I was in school,
Uh-huh.
what we did, the drills that we had were fire drills.
Yes.
We had fire drills. Now you have active shooter drills.
Exactly.
I mean, just listen to that. Listen, I mean, we did not have cops coming to the school, because you're worried if somebody's going to bring a gun or somebody's going to come.
Exactly.
This is how crazy it has gotten, that
You
now
so
we're
right, babe.
talking about this. I mean,
Yep.
that your kid is learning. I mean, here, you know, you know, living, I'm I'm teaching my kid when he was younger to get up under a desk because we live in a place where there's an earthquake.
Yeah, me too.
Not get up under a desk
For somebody
because
shooting.
somebody's shooting at you. So I mean, just to even have this conversation,
It's crazy.
I think
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Girl, look at this. I was just telling my 13-year-old, when you get them ready for school, you getting the lunchbox, you getting your tissues, you getting your crayons, your pencils. Now we got to put them on a bulletproof vest. What is the conversation? It just jumped from 1 to 100 and so fast. But what I'm seeing is a tradition thing. If we continue to do the same thing, we're going to get those same results. But because we have not changed the way public school is ran, the way we have not changed the population of these
But is
classrooms.
it just public school, or should private schools also uh, have to
And
worry?
and okay, okay. Now, in most private schools, because I myself has done Montessori as well, because I couldn't stand the public school system traditions. I went away from that. More private school settings, you're going to have fewer students, so that
True.
means you're going to have more liaisons, more parents involved, more security. You do have that in a private school setting because you have less kids and stuff like that. If we drop the prices of these private schools, they're acting like these kids are already in college, the way that some of these school prices are. So now we have so many children in public school because a lot of parents can't afford the private school teaching. But one of my theories, my conspiracy theories, is we as parents start learning how to teach our children. We go behind that desk again and sit for 8 hours. And we're the ones, being taught so that we can teach our children instead of putting that in somebody else's hands.
And Saucy, that is why after fourth grade,
Yeah,
from fifth grade through 12th grade, my son was homeschooled.
me too. Oh my goodness, I want to kiss you. I want to applaud
So
you.
I mean,
Oh my,
I homeschool,
I
and
want to
his
clap.
so yeah, so and
Yeah.
caps, thank you very much. and
And I know we all can homeschool. I do know that.
thank you for the gift.
A
No,
lot of
I
parents.
mean, and I understand that, and I was in a
Right.
situation where I could, and I know everyone can't, but I
Right.
think that homeschooling, 20 years ago, people would laugh if you did that. But
Yes.
now I think more and more people, if you're able to homeschool.
For real, or even
So yeah,
I'll start a class for parents. Like if the parent, because a lot of we have in California, we have a lot of different cultures. Some of the parents can't even speak English, so I remember we created a neighborhood watch um movement because people were breaking in people's. Let's create a neighborhood watch for parents that needs to want to learn how to teach their children. As a school teacher, I will willing to do that for so many parents. Like my block, I probably have like 10 kids. If 5 of those parents came out of those, that's 5 people that I'm teaching right there that can be able to teach someone else. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different things we can do, guys. And I know it's not going to happen overnight. But if those are some ideas in your neighborhoods, we can bring the village back.
yes.
Let's tell auntie and uncle next door that we're going to be gone for a couple of hours if they can go in and out and look. Let's not leave it up to YouTube and Fox 31 to babysit our kids and PlayStation 5 to configure their minds. Let's
Well,
go back to the old school.
that's that's a parental thing, because I never allowed my child to do any of that stuff, and
Yeah.
to this day he doesn't do it. So,
Oh my God! Oh,
yeah,
girl, can I kiss you to
so
the phone? Let me
Saucy,
kiss you.
hold on. I am about to wrap it up, and I want to
Yeah.
go around the room and get everybody's last thoughts. So, Saucy, I will start with you. What are your last thoughts before I wrap it
My
up?
last thoughts is I love you. I thank God for. I think everything happens for a reason. I thank God for bringing me on your panel today. I'm following you. Hopefully, you follow me back too.
I have been following you, by the way.
Yes, and if we get more parents like yourself and more parents like Caps and Chio, um, and Juju and all the people that's on the panel, if we get us all to keep thinking alike, to keep this pod beans thing going, we'll do better. So that was my last thoughts. Thank you guys.
Okay. Caps.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna say. Absolute thank you so much. And I have been patient because I've got respect. And I'm a git. Everyone knows I'm a git. But you know what? Chill will, Crucible, too much. Honestly, too much. I love you. I hope you're doing very well in hospital as well. I hope everything's going well. And I love you to bits. And I've known you for too long to not think that. 2 years, I think,
Yeah.
nearly. And Solid Blue, you got such an amazing cast, and you should definitely carry on. Not saying you're questioning that, but like you're brilliant, and I love your movement, and you're a brilliant
But you
host.
know what, Caps? My show does not work unless I have people like you. You guys
No,
support me,
definitely,
and that is why I have my
definitely.
show. So I have
No,
to
I
give
just really
credit
think
to
you're a
everyone.
really good person, though. Like, and I ain't just blowing wind up your arsehole. I'm being genuine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry I say it the way it is, and like, I love your topics, and I think you're a really cool person. So
Well,
yeah,
thank you. Well, Caps,
thank you so
and
much,
I'm telling you,
and everyone else as well.
please send me that
I'll
email
send
and
an
friendly
email.
the
I'll literally
differences.
send an email in 10 minutes.
Okay, because Ba and I want you on our show, and the show
Okay.
is not it streams across Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, so you will be on video. So we want to talk to you about
Mm.
coming on the show. And Chill Will, we
We'll have to
want you.
speak about that. We'll have to speak about that.
Okay, well, and Chill Will, we want you on the show with Caps also. So
Like, I'll
yeah,
behave
but
and I will shut my mouth. Like, no, I will, and I
well,
won't
that
butt
Yeah,
show,
in.
right. Yeah,
But
right.
that platform is a little different. So if you guys haven't seen the show, we have a couple of them that are posted. Some of them
what is it? Literally like zoomy?
we no we don't go on Zoom. We use a different platform
No,
that
but what
is.
I'm saying is it video?
It is video.
Okay, I'm not scared of video. I'm not scared. Me and
Okay.
Chill have been on video before. Me and
Okay.
Too Much
All
have
right.
been on video before.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah.
So, do you have anything else you want to say, Caps, before I move on to Sweet
Yeah,
Willie?
yeah, I do. You know what? In life, yeah, if you've never had a bad experience, then you've never lived. So understand that the shit times actually make you the person that you are, to learn that you're gonna have actually good times. So take your head out the fucking shit and fucking start stepping up, and make yourself fucking feel better, because there ain't no one else that's gonna do it other than you, and hopefully us as well. So yeah, that's it. And I love you all. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Caps. All right, Sweet Willie, you have the last word on the panel.
Well, yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out. God bless. Good night. And that's what Russell Simmons
Oh,
used to
good
say at the
Lord.
end of Def Jam. Every time they was like, "Can I say something different?" I want to thank everybody for coming out. God bless. Good night.
Oh, Chill,
But
Will,
no,
you keep smoking that shit, brother.
but no, good show.
No, no,
Awesome show. Good to see everybody's faces and smiles and hear them too. And for sure, I'll be back. We got to talk about that show too, because I don't. We got it. Can't be the 25th, but it can be another day for
No,
sure.
no. The 25th is, we already have everybody locked down for that show.
But
So,
yeah. But I just remember you mentioning that.
well, when you
So
said that you weren't able to,
I was just
so we
busting.
had to
Yeah.
get someone else. But we do want you on. We do have some other hot topics that you would, we definitely want you on for. So,
Okay.
but we do for you and Caps, we need to get a date, and Caps, just so you know, is usually Saturdays, but if we have to adjust, we will try. But Caps, but Chill, you will come on the show with Caps,
listen,
right?
Saturday, what Saturday time in
We
England?
have to, we will ask what is everyone's, what
No,
date.
no, no. Like, listen, like, I'll adjust to you. So, what is your your preferred time?
Well, we usually do it on Saturdays at 12 noon Pacific, which would be 8 o'clock p.m. your
Well,
time. But
that'd
if
be
we need,
absolutely beautiful, wouldn't it?
but I know Chill has issues with Saturdays, so
Yeah, he
we'll
goes
see what we
out
can
and
do.
start discoing and stuff.
but we definitely want Chill, and Chill. We want you and Caps on the same show, because I'm looking to have a fun show. I'm looking just to have
No,
fun on that
Chill's
show. So.
brilliant. Like, but it depends what you want from me and Chill. What do you ultimately want from us? Do you want us to be funny, or do you want us to be serious, or do you want us to be all out bastards?
No, we can
Because
just be. If you
I
be
want
yourself,
you to.
no
I
problem.
want
we
you
are
to be
all of them.
yourself.
Well, that is all out bastards then.
I want you to be yourself, yourself,
Nah,
yourself.
I will. Nah, all
No.
of the above. No, no. Like, Juju, can I just say before I go, like, Juju as well, like, enough respect. And I remember Juju, like, oh God, like, I love, hope you're doing very well. Nah, I swear down. And yeah, like, everyone on here, man, who's listening, man, I think you're
So y'all
amazing
going?
people.
What I asked
I
you,
think you're
I
good.
just I'll let you a little bit later about that one. What do you?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oi, no,
All right.
I'll
So,
email, like, let's go on email, let's sort out a time and look for everyone, and then
well, that
hopefully
is
we
what we
can.
would do. We would want to make sure that everyone
Yeah,
is
yeah.
on
But
board. So,
are we gonna have a topic
we,
solidly?
we will, but let's get everybody. Let me know if you all are interested, and then we will do all
I'm
this
interested.
via
I'm
email.
definitely interested. I'll tell you
Okay.
that right
All right. All right. And I knew you would be, and that's why I was happy you came on today. So, all
now. Okay, and
right,
thank you.
everyone.
I'm gonna shut
So,
up. Thank you.
all right. So tomorrow, guys, is Wednesday, and tomorrow's topic is switched at birth. Okay, and I have something specific that I want to say about that. So hopefully, you guys will come back. Um, behave. I don't know know why I laugh every time I say behave, and I look at Cap's name, I look at Chill Will's name, and I just start laughing.
I
I just
love
start
you
laughing.
so
But
much. You're so fucking funny. You class.
oh boy. So all right, y'all. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And yes, I'm gonna say it, go where the wind takes you. So you guys, thank you so much for coming. And don't forget Jimmy's show is tonight. He said 8 o'clock Central Time. So on that note, guys, see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, you guys crack me up.
You're amazing. Hey now.
Oh boy. And again, Caps and Frankie, thank you so much for the pod beans. I appreciate them. Appreciate them. So Chill Will, Caps, GP Man, Woody Bush, welcome. Chef was here. Power Girl, Jester was here. Captain Jimmy. Who am I leaving out? Juju. Ooh, I'm leaving somebody out.
You're leaving out yourself.
Petty Deb, all of you guys, thank you for coming. All right, y'all, go home. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.